Born Gaius Octavius Thurinus. Our protagonist wasn't initially destined for greatness. It's like predicting the emperor from a lineup of toddlers. Odds are you'd bet on the wrong kid. Little did anyone suspect this seemingly ordinary boy would become Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Born in 63 BC, he was just your average Roman kid, except for one tiny detail. His great uncle was Julius Caesar. Now that's a name you don't forget at parties. Octavius, or Octavian as he was later known, had big sandals to fill. Caesar, being a busy man, conquering Gaul, writing commentaries, the usual, took a liking to the bright young man and decided to groom him as his heir. It was a smart move. Caesar had no legitimate sons, and this kid showed promise. Little did either of them know, fate had other plans. In 44 BC, Caesar went to the theatre, not for a play, but for a rather unfortunate encounter with some disgruntled senators and their daggers. Just like that, Caesar was gone, leaving a power vacuum and a teenage heir with a target on his back. Talk about a tough act to follow. Rome descended into chaos. Everyone had an opinion, a sword, and a burning desire for power. Octavian, all of 18 years old, stepped onto this bloody stage. He had Caesar's name, a loyal army, and a surprising amount of political savvy. He was also incredibly ruthless, a necessary trait in those tumultuous times. He formed the Second Triumvirate with Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus. Imagine a political alliance forged in a den of hungry lions, with each lion eyeing the others suspiciously. Their goal? To avenge Caesar and restore order. It was basically a Roman reality show where the prize was absolute power. Things got messy. There were proscriptions, which were basically Roman hit lists for political enemies. Heads rolled, literally. Then came the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC, where they defeated Caesar's assassins, Brutus and Cassius. Victory, except winning has a way of making allies into enemies. The triumvirate was always doomed. It was like trying to fit 3 emperors into a chariot built for one, awkward and uncomfortable. Octavian and Antony, former allies, became bitter rivals. Their rivalry culminated in the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, a massive naval clash off the coast of Greece. Octavian's forces triumphed, sending Antony and his lover, Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, running for the hills, or rather the pyramids. The defeated pair, facing certain capture, chose a dramatic exit. Let's just say Shakespeare had a field day with that one. With his enemies vanquished, Octavian returned to Rome, not as just another general, but as the undisputed master of the Roman world. He was careful not to make the same mistakes as Caesar. He knew the Romans were wary of kings, so he played it smart. Instead of calling himself king, he took the title Augustus, meaning revered one. It was a clever move, suggesting divine favor without outright claiming divinity. Section 4. Augustus's building projects a city of marble. Augustus knew the importance of appearances. He inherited a city of brick and left it clad in marble, literally. He embarked on a massive building program, constructing temples, forums, and aqueducts. Rome wasn't built in a day, but Augustus sure gave it his best shot. He famously said, "I found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble." A humble brag, sure, but he wasn't wrong. He reformed the army, creating a professional standing force and a permanent navy. He understood that peace, or at least the illusion of it, required a strong military. His reign ushered in the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity that lasted for 2 centuries. Augustus wasn't just about brute force, he was a shrewd administrator. He reformed the tax system, making it fairer and more efficient. He established a postal service, making communication across the vast empire faster and more reliable. He even created a fire brigade, a much-needed service in a city prone to conflagrations. Section 5, the Pax Romana peace, sort of. The Pax Romana wasn't all sunshine and roses. There were still wars and rebellions, most notably the Great Illyrian Revolt and the Teutoburg Forest debacle, where 3 Roman legions met a sticky end against Germanic tribes. Augustus, according to the historian Suetonius, was so distraught by the defeat that he was said to have wandered his palace, banging his head against the walls and shouting, "Quintilius Verus, give me back my legions!" But for the most part, Augustus's reign was a time of peace and prosperity. Trade flourished, the arts thrived, and the population grew. He patronized writers and artists, ushering in a golden age of Roman literature with the likes of Virgil, Horace, and Ovid.